ever consider how normal individuals morph into horrific figures? How does a narcissistic, enchanting woman like Lori Vallow manipulate the naive and trusting Alex, her brother, leading them both to commit unimaginable horrors? The nature of evil is a complex tapestry, skillfully interlaced with threads of deceit, control, and warped belief. It's a shadowy chism that consumes the commonplace, the everyday, transmuting them into entities drastically different from who they originally were. It's a force so strong that it obscures the distinction between right and wrong, making the unthinkable appear normal. Welcome to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathy. Let's dig into how we got here, how Lori and Alex and Chad got there. What in their psyche would ever bring anyone to commit these type of crimes? Enter Lori Vallow and Alex Cox. Lori, once a striking beauty contestant, eventually turned evil. Her narcissistic tendencies made her even more formidable, bending others to her will with her deceptive charm. Alex, contrastingly, is a soul easily influenced by Lori's persuasive persona. An unlikely duo, some might argue. However, the darkness within them solidifies their connection, creating a bond more potent than any physical attraction. They've made headlines for all the wrong reasons, charged with appalling crimes that instill a sense of dread. Their tale is one that's difficult to swallow. Lori, a mother, stands convicted now of murdering her two children and conspiring to commit murder of Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy. While Alex, a seemingly harmless man, is implicated in these gruesome acts under the influence of Lori. The question arises, what could lead a self-absorbed woman to commit such heinous deeds? What could have warped her consciousness to a degree that she could harm her own offspring? And how can a man as naive as Alex be manipulated to such an extent? In the abyss of evil, even beauty can turn into a monster. But what could possibly lead a mother to harm her own flesh and blood? The transformation of a doting mother, Lori Vallow, into a supposed child killer is a terrifying one. But what led her down this dark path? The answer lies in a gray character, Chad Daybell. A man as appealing as a wet blanket. Imagine a man with the allure of a soggy cardboard box, able to morph a self-centered woman into a tool of evil. This is Chad Daybell, a Mormon doomsday author and a man so bland it'd make watching grass grow seem thrilling. But it was this very man who managed to entangle Lori Vallow in a web of deceit and manipulation. Their relationship timeline is a sordid story of manipulation and alleged brainwashing, where Chad's religious beliefs served as the cornerstone. They say love is blind, but in Lori's case, it only amplified her self-centeredness to the point where she began justifying horrific acts.
Tonight's big story, the estranged husband of the woman at the center of a national search for two missing children is speaking from beyond the grave. A divorce document finds he was living in fear and getting death threats in the bizarre final few months before being shot to death. Good evening, I'm Tram Mai.
I'm Mitch Carr. Caribe and Mark are off tonight. Team 12's Nicole Zymek has been on this chaotic case, and she joins us live here in Studio 12A with the latest chapter in this Dateline-like mystery. Nicole?
And Mitch, not only that, but in these documents, Charles Vallow also claims that Lori Vallow called herself God and, quote, warned that she would kill him. And his sister says that he was living in fear.
It's crazy.
References to numerous lives on different planets, believing she was a god, and death threats.
I said, "Oh, Charles, are you sure you're not making this up?" He said, "I can't make this up."
Kay Woodcock is familiar with all of it. She's Charles Vallow's sister and grandmother to missing JJ and Tylee. Court documents are now shedding a light into the bizarre final months of the Vallows' marriage. Charles petitioning for sole custody of JJ, stating Lori wasn't mentally stable, claiming she had recently become infatuated and at times obsessive about spiritual visions, claiming she was a god assigned to help in Christ's second coming, and that if Charles got in the way of her mission, she would murder him, and had an angel there to help her dispose of the body.
He was sleeping with one eye open. People that I've spoken with that said she would just be doing something and she'd say, well, Charles just has to go. He just has to go.
In July 2019, Chandler police say Lori's brother shot Charles to death after a family fight. Kay says she noticed a big change in Lori's character after she became affiliated with an extreme religious group, saying she went from being a doting mom.
Big reason why we're so concerned with JJ is because she couldn't handle him anymore. She said she was tired and she just didn't want him anymore.
In court paperwork, Charles also claims Lori told him she, quote, did not want anything to do with him or the children.
To wrap your brain around all this stuff she's saying, I can't do it.
And earlier tonight, authorities in Idaho served a search warrant at Chad Daybell's home. This as the FBI continues to search for JJ and Tylee, who Idaho police say are considered to be in danger. Guys, back over to you.
Chad's beliefs were far from any conventional Sunday Mass. He had his unique doomsday spin on Christianity, and he convinced Lori and many others, including the naive Alex Cox, that they were chosen by God for a divine mission, a mission that included unthinkable acts. Chad didn't stop at that. He propagated outlandish theories about Lori's children, Tylee and JJ, labeling them as zombies. Any sane person would dismiss such absurd claims, but not Lori. Lori, driven by self-interest, and Alex, baited by naivety and an abnormal devotion to his sister, bought into this narrative, hook, line, and sinker. How did Chad, as exciting as a bowl of plain oatmeal, manage to manipulate Lori and Alex? It's challenging to comprehend, but beneath Chad's bland exterior lurked a cunning and manipulative brain. Chad Daybell, with his charm of wilted lettuce, managed to turn a self-absorbed woman and not-so-intelligent man into pawns of evil. But how did he do it? Let's dig deeper. Brainwashing. Brainwashing, a destructive tool in the hands of the malevolent. Applied effectively, it can morph even the most nurturing mother into an impassive executioner. Let's plunge into the grim realm of brainwashing, shall we? Imagine Lori Vallow, a lively woman, once a mother of 3 beautiful children, ensnared by Chad Daybell's delusional ideologies. Yep, brainwashing. Brainwashing is no frivolous magic trick. It's a dark craft, a process of mental manipulation, warping a person's doctrines, attitudes, and perceptions until they are nothing but a marionette on the strings of the manipulator. And Chad Daybell, he was, in my opinion, the master manipulator. Lori's principles were not just skewed, they were contorted beyond comprehension. Narcissism clouded her judgment, leading her to accept Chad's proclamation that her children were zombies, and she was the queen leader of the second coming of Christ. So, how does a mother agree to something so gruesome, so bizarre? The answer is hidden in the corrosive power of brainwashing. It's a mist that obscures your sanity, making you lose touch with reality. But Lori wasn't alone in this downward spiral into insanity. Alex Cox, Lori's gullible brother, was also ensnared in Chad's web of deception. It's a horrifying thought, isn't it? 2 siblings, once innocent children at some point themselves, now intertwined in a plot so ominous that it sends chills down your spine. Alex, in his naivety, was manipulated, his beliefs ruthlessly twisted to align with Chad's. He was convinced that he was fulfilling a higher cause, that his actions were justified. This demonstrates the potency of brainwashing, how it can make a man betray his own family. But let's not overlook the puppet master behind this tragedy, Chad Daybell, a man so unnoticeable, so average, yet he commanded such control over Lori and Alex. His delusions were not just fantasies. They were weapons employed to manipulate and control a naive brother and a narcissistic mother, both ensnared in the trap of Chad Daybell's warped ideologies. A tragic tale indeed. As we ponder this chilling narrative, we're left with the bewildering question: how does an average man craft such an intricate web of malevolence? Chad Daybell, a man as thrilling as a flat soda, managed to envelop Lori Vallow Daybell, undeniably a woman of allure in a cloak of greed and horror. This tale has unveiled the calamitous repercussions of manipulation and mind control, culminating in the inconceivable: a mother now convicted of offing her offspring. Lori's narcissism and her brother Alex's trusting, albeit naive, not the sharpest tool in the shed nature, became the fuel for this spiraling tragedy. The story of Lori, Chad, and Alex, a narrative that took a drastic turn into the sinister, has left us with a harrowing realization. This is a potent reminder that evil isn't always monstrous or repugnant. Often it lurks behind the facade of the mundane, the commonplace, the average. It's not about physical attractiveness or being ordinary. It's about the decisions we make. The Daybell's story is a stark warning that malevolence can be as close as the person beside you. It's a grim revelation of how our choices, when swayed by manipulation and brainwashing, can guide us down a dark path, one that ends in horrifying tragedy. Ultimately, it's not about the outward appeal or being unremarkable. It's about the choices we make. When these decisions are polluted by manipulation and mind control, the outcomes can be devastatingly tragic. Thank you for watching Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Kathy. Please subscribe if you're new. More content coming all the time. I'm Kathy Brooks. Stay safe, stay well, and I will be back soon.